morning and welcome to Money Isn't Everything. I'm your host, Mary Wisniewski. Every other Thursday, we usually have a guest that I interview, and that person's usually shaking up financial services in some way. Because today is a holiday, we're doing something a little bit different. I wanted to, interview myself by just highlighting some of the things I'm really thankful for. So to begin with, if you're new here, who am I? Well, I am Cornerstone Advisors editor at large, and I'm also a longtime fintech reporter. I've written for like American Banker, Bankrate, and a site that was then known as Bank Innovation. And I'm also an occasional essayist. But this year was the first year where I became a podcast host just by myself. And it's been a real pleasure. And there's been some really striking moments along this journey. And I wanted to give a shout out to a few of the things that I'm super thankful for in fintech. And to kick it off, the thing I'm very thankful for was how we launched this, because we launched it filming a little trailer on a bachelorette bike in Scottsdale, Arizona. And that was something I had noticed when I joined Cornerstone Advisors about 2 years ago. I was like, what are these bachelorette bikes? And why am I thinking something about fintech is happening on that? And so it became a reality this spring. And another thing that I'm super thankful for was my first guest, Ethan Block, who founded a company called Digit, which has since been acquired, but it was one of the first, if not first, automated savings apps. And he was so generous to not only be my first guest, but he came into the office and he was very candid. He talked about like how he wished he achieved even more at Digit and how he thinks fintech has a long ways to go still. And I just really liked that vulnerability and just that acknowledgement that no, we haven't cured everything. Far from it. Next, I am really thankful for a similar reason, but different direction. But her name is Frida Leibowitz, who went on the show. And much like Ethan, she's very, blunt and energetic. And she is a co-founder of a company called Debbie, which is rethinking consumer behavior by incentivizing like quote unquote good things to do with your money, such as pay down debt or put it towards savings, and that person will get rewarded. And she went on the show and was really candid about how she thinks, financial literacy hasn't really done anything. And it's in many ways, it's kind of silly because it's not changing behavior. It can be really arrogant. And something that was wonderful was that I emceed this event in Detroit, Michigan, called the Reseda Summit. And she was there and she took it even to the next level of like, financial literacy is BS. And I'm thankful for that because I love when people say what they mean. And this is how this world always like blurs and blends together in an industry. And I had a guest, Ben Maxim, who is the COO of the Reseda Group. He also has a role at the credit union, but he was a guest on the show to sort of like play back some of the best things that happened at the event. And we talked about Frida. So I'm also thankful for Ben talking about his point of view of like, where financial literacy can play a role, but also it has serious limitations. And he was not afraid to acknowledge them, let's say. I'm really thankful also as part of this journey is that I've been able to like revisit people I interviewed from some of my earliest work, either blogging for Bank Innovation or at American Banker. And it was a joy to reconnect with the founder of Finovate, Jim Bruni. He was one of the first people I spoke with in the industry for a story where I'm like, hey, this guy is really generous with the way he's speaking. He's really explaining everything well. And he's really like, you can tell he's just so curious about the way things could be. And so I just had like a really wonderful moment reconnecting with him for Money Isn't Everything. And among the things that I'm thankful for was him reminding me or letting me know that like, before there were apps, I was always thinking about how people have to rely on paper statements to check their balance, to make sure they have enough money to buy whatever. But he was bringing up how like people would call the bank or credit union to get that balance. And I am so thankful that we have more options because that sounds terrible. And I am really thankful, just general comment for like all the entrepreneurs working on seriously hard problems and also working toward helping people achieve better financial outcomes. And one of the guests on the show, Laurel Taylor, who is the founder and CEO of a company called Candidly, which is a debt optimization company. And she's doing something really cool because this year there was a policy tweak in something called the Secure 2.0 Act. And it's allowing like employers to match retirement savings for those who are paying down their debt. So she's helping through her company to grow awareness to this, to like help inspire people to do, longer term savings plans who might not have done it otherwise. And so her company's working on that with employers. And I think that's really cool. And this year, I'm also super thankful for like the damning critique of certain things in fintech as well as in banking, because certain things do need to get shut down. But one thing that I'm especially thankful for is like this tipping model, this idea of tipping your fintech app is like not a good idea. It's not good for the consumer. And there's more like critiques on this. And I'm really thankful for that as well. And that's something I track in my monthly newsletter called Finteching with Mary that hits at the end of the month, every month on LinkedIn. And part of that has been a really fun like study of like some of the things that are changing in terms of the business model. So tipping, I say, no, bad. But another thing that's happening are like subscription plans. And so like you're seeing, accounts offered like Monzo, giving people like free little treats or I think it was a sausage roll, maybe even in like a coffee. And I think that's really cool. Like the way you think about what people get for just using what could have been a commoditized product, but doesn't have to be. And the last thing I'm super, super thankful for is going to be the last episode of the season, which will hit December 12th. And that's a conversation with Jennifer Tescher, who is the founder of something called the Financial Health Network, if you don't know her. And she founded it, I believe, in 2004. And, Ethan was one of the first entrepreneurs to show me that, hey, I really think fintech is interesting. But Jennifer was one of the first people to show me just how important financial health is through the lens of a bank or a credit union. So what a joy to reconnect with her. And you'll hear that episode drop on December 12th. But that is not where the Cornerstone content will end, because what we're not calling, but I'm calling it an add-on service to the Gonzo Banker Awards. I'm joining El Dominic, Ron Shevlin, Sam Kilmer, and Steve Williams, and we're coming together to announce some of the winners in what will be like a live virtual event. So that will be December 18th at 10 a.m. Pacific. See you then.